Goedemiddag aan al onze kijkers. Het is weer tijd voor een interview met key opinion leaders uit de industrie. Vandaag hebben we een speciale gast, Mounir Benchemled, oprichter van Velora. Hello, Mounir. How are you doing?
Hey Raul, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you very much. So yeah, I just want to start a bit with obviously ParaSwap has rebranded to Velora, which is now what we're going to talk about. Can you introduce Velora for those who still, might still know you as ParaSwap?
Yeah, sure. So ParaSwap launched in 2019, and recently we rebranded to Velora. And we've been always known as ParaSwap as a DEX aggregator. So you use us to get the best possible prices in the markets. And as a user, you are in control of your transaction. So you use your wallet to push the transaction on chain, which is great, which is something we still have running on 10 chains and others coming soon. But Velora has a new positioning of the ParaSwap protocol, which is based on intent. So instead of users pushing the transaction themselves, they are relying on a network of what you call agents, who are either market makers or algorithmic traders, otherwise called solvers, that will compete for user flow and try to provide the user even much better prices, but also pushing the transaction themselves in order for the user to get the best possible execution. So that's Velora, but also what we're also adding new here is the cross-chain dimension. So you can trade not only in one chain and like buy whatever tokens you want in the same chain, you can trade across chain. So like you can sell a token in Ethereum and get the counterparty on Base and Optimism, Arbitrum, you name it.
Okay, and was this something that was missing before, the cross-chain element in ParaSwap?
Exactly, yes. ParaSwap was all about DEX aggregation and optimizing prices. And here we take it even further by like introducing this auction system that brings the prices that even further, like improves the prices even further, but also the cross-chain side.
Okay, and I see that Velora combines velocity and aura, the two names. So how come, what's the meaning behind the name, and why did you decide to make this change? Is it purely because it's now a much faster and it's a more complete ecosystem, or what exactly, what is the reason behind that name?
Yeah, the name, it took us some time, some iterations, like some design sprints in order to get to that name. The funny thing, in the beginning, we had another name and we really fell in love with that name because it seemed like nice and cute. It was called Ara, which is like a Brazilian parrot. And the motivation was, well, ParaSwap was kind of boring between code, like very functional. It does really its job very well, super fast and fluid. But the thing is, it had no personality. You use ParaSwap to do things in a very straightforward way, in a very nice UX, but it felt like this emotional connection with the end user. So that was one of the main motivations for the rebranding and for coming up with like a personality. And we thought that animals are something that connects very well to humans. And after a few calls and a few brainstorming, we came up with the parrots because it can fly, and that's what we're trying to provide to our users. And it's also easy to remember. Are 3 letters, so it's very hard to like miss for users. And the thing is that once we get into more deeper discussions with and involved other team members, our head of design was like, okay, well, Ara is a bird and your value prop is being fast, but the bird is maybe faster than other animals, but it's not like known for being fast. Although it's funny, it's like achieved one thing is funny, but it's not really fast. So we went to other brainstorming sessions, and this is where Velora was like crafted based on like the values that we're aiming for and what we want to like bring to our users, like speed, precision, flexibility, and all of that. And Velora captures multiple terms. So you have velocity, aura, value. It's a lot of terms that are encapsulated in Velora. And luckily, we had at least the XYZ domain name available. So we went for it, and we're happy with our choice so far.
Awesome. It's always interesting to hear what the ideation process is behind rebranding or calling a company or a new DEX aggregator in this case, which actually brings me back a bit to Velora's upgrade and new features. So you were talking about intent-based trading. Can you kind of explain in a simple form as possible how this improves the user experience compared to other systems?
Yeah, sure. So the main noticeable value add for end user is abstracting the technical, I would say, details of blockchains that are trading on. Like right now with the DEX aggregator, you need to worry about gas, you need to have enough gas, look at the gas prices, and also worried about MEV. So when you push the transaction yourself to a public mempool, well, it's public, so everyone has access to the same information you have, which means other attackers, front runners, sandwich attackers, and all of that, they also see your transaction and they can attack the transaction if it's profitable for them, which should represent something like $800 to $900 million every year of value extracted from users. So not only it improves user experience, but not having to worry about gas and all of that, but also it protects users against MEV. It's like maximum extractable value extracted from front runners. That's on the second value prop. But the third one is also as important, is price improvements, because now your transaction is as good as the price that was found in moment T or block T. While here we try to find the best possible price by building this competition. But when the user sign a transaction and send it, they don't send it to the mempool, they send it to this auction system where a bidding like an auction system happens, and bidders, which are like those agents, will see the flow without having to see the details, like it's like a sealed bid auction. So they bid on, like, say I'm selling one ETH for say 1500 USDC. Each one will try to bid at least 1 cent more, $1 more, $10 more, whatever. Their incentive is to win this trade. We can get into like what are their incentives, but anyways, they want to win that trade, and the winner, the one who can propose the best possible price, will take the transaction and will execute it themselves. So they are even responsible for the gas, and they have no incentive of using public mempools because their price will be deteriorated. So they want to also use private mempools, which means they send the transactions directly to the builders, and nobody will see the transaction only when it's too late, like when the transaction has already passed and finalized. So I'd say, yeah, as a user, it's much better for me to just use a intent-centric protocol than a traditional DEX or aggregator.
Interesting, yeah, 'cause that's what I was going to ask about the mev bots exactly, and how you bypass that like security, that people are a lot of time worried about, and I'm sure many of us have been mev'd before buying whatever
Yeah.
token it is on a DEX. So, and this leads me to why, in what other ways does Velora simplify DeFi and the incentives? Actually, first I want to go into the incentives. How do these incentives work for those offering to do the transactions?
Yeah, what comes down to order flow, because it's all about crunching numbers. That's what they're doing in general. That's why other competitors, they call them solvers, because they solve equations all the time. So for them, there are two categories. There are what you can call solvers and what you can call market makers. That's why we brought this we call all of everyone agents. It encapsulates multiple use cases. But anyways, like the solvers will try to, because when you say you sell ETH to USDC, you move the price, you build a small imbalance, which means there is an arbitrage opportunity somewhere else. Like this butterfly effects that you do, and that builds an opportunity for them. So for them taking your trade and selling somewhere else, like buying USDC from you and selling USDC somewhere else, will make a profit for them. And this adds up a lot. It's like now we're processing between 100 and $200 million a day. That's a lot of flow and a lot of arbitrage opportunities for those agents, especially here the solvers. For the market makers, and those are like they can overlap. Some they can do both. What they generally do is some kind of delta hedging. So they will buy the USDC from you and they will sell it in Binance or vice versa, and they will earn a small spread. And again, do that 30 times, 100 times, 1,000 times. It can add up a lot and can make a decent revenue for these guys.
Awesome. And who is Velora built for? Is it just traders, developers, or can protocols also benefit from it? Is it just built for everyone and all users?
Yeah, so we are an infrastructure first project. Right now, 90% of our volume comes from third parties. That can be Aave, Ledger, MetaMask, Rabi, you name it. And our front end is one of the big users. So we try to eat our dog food. So whatever feature we build, we push it to our front end. Our front end was the first user of Delta. So Delta is the intent-based product. That's how we call it. It was the first product, and also we wanted to go in a stealth mode, like not going all in and having everyone integrate from day one. We wanted to iterate and introduce breaking changes. So our front end is always like the privileged that can have access to the first, like on Premier access. But the aim here is to have everyone use Delta, or here Velora Delta, to provide the same capabilities to their users.
Okay. And this leads me to my final part of the interview, which is, looking ahead for Velora. Like, what are the next big milestones? Can we expect new partnerships or integrations with wallets, chains, or other protocols soon?
Yeah, indeed. Yes. Now I think we reach critical mass in terms of volume and like functionality, maturity of functionality. What we're aiming for now is expanding beyond our front end, beyond also the network of agents we have. I think we have around 5, and many are on the line. We didn't want to onboard everyone all at once, so we can serve the ones we have right now as best as we can. The system is scalable, so we want to like the end game is to have anyone become an agent, because there are cases where you have some very skilled engineers or teams who can build the sophisticated algorithms and use some of the open source libraries we provide, like for connecting with dexes, and become an agent themselves without needing any huge capital, just a small AWS server and competing with others, and they can really perform well. But also you can have some very specialized use cases, like some DAOs who need to sell some tokens and they don't want to sell it just on the open markets. They can be also counterparties with other traders. It can be some who have some very, I would say, specific tokenized, let's say an RWA or anything that's really hard to integrate somewhere else, but they can provide a service just for that niche. And those can be agents, but also for on the user side, anyone can use our front end or can integrate our protocol.
Right. So the end is just for everyone to be able to use it, whether it's a chain, individuals, traders, market makers,
Yes.
developers, etc. That is the end goal. Okay. Well, that leads. Thank you very much for your time, Mounir. I hope you enjoyed it. I think our audience will really enjoy it.
Great. Well, thanks a lot, Raul. I really enjoyed the conversation. Happy to be here.
Thank you very much, Mounir. Have a lovely day.
You too. Thanks.
Cheers.